Let's talk about the one device that's probably sitting right in front of you, your laptop. I mean, it's our connection to everything, right? Work, friends, entertainment, it's all in this little clamshell. But here's the thing. There's a hidden cost, a physical toll that we've all just kind of started to accept as normal. Today, we're going to dig into that. Seriously, just for a second, do a quick self-scan. You feel that? That little bit of tightness in your shoulders? Maybe a dull ache right at the base of your skull? Yeah, that feeling. It's so common we've almost forgotten what it's like not to feel it. But it is not normal, and you don't have to live with it. So that's what we're going to do in this explainer. We are going to unpack the science behind why you're feeling that ache. And then we're going to look at a pretty brilliant example of how some really smart, human-centered design can actually engineer a way out of it. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the laptop's big paradox. Then, we'll get into the hard data behind the pain. From there, we'll see how clever engineering comes to the rescue. We'll put that solution to the test, and finally, we'll figure out what this all means for you. Okay, part one. The laptop's double edge. See, the very thing we love most about our laptops, the fact that we can take them anywhere, is the exact same thing that's causing us all this trouble. It really comes down to one fundamental design flaw. The screen and the keyboard are locked together. Think about it. You can't get the screen at a good height for your eyes and the keyboard at a good height for your hands at the same time. It's impossible. So what do? We hunch, we slouch, we force our bodies into these really unnatural positions. And listen, this isn't just about feeling a little stiff at the end of the day. The research is brutally clear about the long-term consequences. We're talking about serious, chronic problems, things like spinal arthritis, disc degeneration, all because of that constant hunch. So, we know why it's a problem, but just how big of a problem is it, really? Well, when you look at the data, the scale of it is kind of shocking. Just look at this number, 95%. In one study of students who use laptops, that is the percentage that reported feeling some kind of physical musculoskeletal discomfort. That's not a small group of people. That is basically everyone. And if we zoom in a little closer, we see that almost half of them, nearly 48%, pinpointed that exact feeling we talked about at the start, neck stiffness. This isn't just a vague feeling anymore. The data puts a hard number on it. Okay, so let's recap. We have a massive, nearly universal problem caused by a fundamental design flaw with some pretty scary long-term risks. The diagnosis is in. The problem is crystal clear. The big question is, what's the cure? And this is where our story takes a turn, because the researchers didn't just stop at identifying the problem. No, they rolled up their sleeves and started engineering an answer. They designed a workstation that puts the human body first and the laptop second. So let's geek out on the design for a second. It's not just a simple stand. It has 12 different height and angle positions for total control. It's got a perforated base, which is a genius move to solve that other annoying laptop problem, overheating. And look at this clamping mechanism and distance adjustment. This thing is designed to work everywhere, not just at a perfect desk. The whole point of all these features comes down to one single goal: enabling a neutral posture. That's the holy grail of ergonomics. It's where your spine is aligned, your shoulders are back, and your head is balanced perfectly. No strain, no slouching. The idea was to make that ideal posture achievable anywhere. But, a cool design is one thing. You have to prove it actually works. You need cold, hard data. They couldn't just say it was better. They had to measure it, objectively and scientifically. So they turned to a tool called RULA. Basically, think of it as a report card for your posture. It analyzes all the angles of your body, your neck, your back, your arms, and spits out a single score. The lower the score, the better your grade, and the lower your risk of injury. Simple as that. And here's what that report card actually looks like. A score of 1 or 2, you're golden, negligible risk. A 3 or 4, you're in the low risk zone. But once you start hitting 5, 6, or higher, you're in trouble. That's considered high risk, and you need to make a change fast. Guess where most of us are when we use a laptop? Yep, the danger zone. So here's the ultimate comparison. On the left, you've got the typical laptop slouch, the forward head, the rounded shoulders, a guaranteed high-risk RULA score. On the right, you have the posture this workstation makes possible: upright, aligned, and shooting for that safe, low-risk zone. And the final score? A 3. That's a huge deal. If you look back at that chart, a score of 3 puts it firmly in the low-risk category. This is it. This is the scientific proof. The design doesn't just look better or feel better, it is measurably, demonstrably safer. So, what's the big lesson here? It's not just about this one particular product. It's about taking this idea of smart design and applying it to our own lives. The real takeaway is that we all have the power to be designers of our own workspace. The goal is always that neutral posture. Whether you achieve it with a fancy stand, a stack of textbooks under your laptop, or an external keyboard and mouse, the principle is exactly the same. You have to separate the screen from the keyboard. And in the end, it really all comes back to how you feel. The study notes that a user testing the design said their discomfort was reduced to a great extent, and that they didn't feel that physical stress in their joints anymore. That, right there, is the whole point. So, we're going to leave you with this final question. Take a look around you right now. Look at your own setup. Now that you know what you know, what's one small change, just one little thing, you could do today to start redesigning your own workspace for a healthier body?